Hello there, it's Donna here from Riverside Beads, and today I am going to show you how to use our fabulous 7 braid Kumihimo disc. So this is for the 7 braid Kumihimo structure. It's a popular braid that's out there, and we've often done it on the round disc, but this disc is specifically for this braid structure. It's only got the 8 slots, so it's just got the little slots where you need them. It's all proportioned through the disc, so there's no confusion as to which one you're putting it in, and making sure that you've got them equally spaced, which really helps with the tension and getting the braid structure correct. So what I'm going to show you today is how to create a braided version of it. And I'm just going to show you a couple of variations on how to change the cords up and how I experiment with the different designs that we create. And then this is next week's tutorial created by Manda, and this is one of the beaded versions of it. And this is a new colourway I was experimenting with to keep it in my favourite colours. So I'm really looking forward to showing you this one next week, and then we've got our endings session as well to show you how to do the Kumihimo and starting and endings, which is always a useful skill set to have. Today it's on the braided disc, and it's with 1mm satin cord. Now it works with a variation of different materials. This is the 1mm cord. I've already pre-cut, so the idea of the 7 strand is you've got 7 strands of cord. So I've pre-cut my white, and I'm just going to pop in 1 strand of red, so you can see how it starts to come in with the, when you bring in different colours. Previously, the patterns that we've been creating on it and that I've done in my Kumihimo book with the 7 strand have all got the 7 different colours. This was a gorgeous rainbow one, which was is always lovely for a nice bright braid, and these are some of the ones here. Now when I work out how the little stitches work on braiding, I always that's how I would work out. If I'd laid a disc out in a certain way and I wanted that dark blue one to be a different colour, for example, I would sort of work out where I put it on the disc and switch that colour for another colour to create patterns. And that's how I would sort of look at this and think, oh, I can create a diamond out of this, or I can, whatever braids that I can do. So I'm going to keep it quite simple today and just show you a couple of variations to explain what I mean by that. So this is 1mm satin, and with the 7 braid I cut them and tie a big loop in the top of that. And bear with me, make sure I got them all through. No, not quite. So it's just one big knot. We have an extra one snuck in there. Trying to do it as near to the end as I can, just so I don't waste any cord. It won't matter for this demo one, but that's how I would do it if I was doing this at home. Okay, hopefully it's captured. Oh, missed one. Still missed one. Okay, hopefully that's held it enough. Might just do a second knot on top of it just to be sure, but you wouldn't normally need to. Just don't do it too close to the end, so it does that, or take your time. You're not trying to do it live and show it as a tutorial. So I'm doing the second one there just to make sure they're all through. Make the braiding easy. If you've not got this tight enough, then that will become a problem. So I've tied all that into a knot at the end, and I'm pushing that through there. And I'm going to lay these out on the disc. So for the purpose of this one, what we're going to do is lay it out on number 1. We're going to leave number 8 free. The numbers don't go around in numerical sequence. They go around in terms of where you need to grab the cord, which one you need to go to next. But I'll also explain the braiding method on this as well. So you can sort of either do it by numbers or just the braiding method, whatever takes your fancy. Now what I would do when I was practicing my patterns is I would do this, photograph the disc before, and then I would do some braiding and photograph the outcome of what comes out the bottom. And that's how I then start to work it out and start to look at the braid structure of them and how they work. And that's how we evolve a lot of our patterns. Now I want to show you the basic principle of it, and then as I braid it through, you'll see how this one highlight of red, how I'll get that sort of fleck of the different as it goes through the braiding. So you take number 1 down to number 8. It's often known as fill the gap. And what you're doing is taking it from the next number down to the gap, and there'll always be a gap. And if you always move it down to, we'll take it as a clock, and down to sort of 4 o'clock there, and always turn that next number down to 4 o'clock and have the next numerical sequence, so 4 and following around to 5, up at 12 o'clock we'll call it, so up at the top there. So I'm taking 5 down to the gap there and at the same place. I prefer to always do it this way. What I'm doing by doing this and always turning the disc is I'm keeping that tension the same. So I'm always grabbing from the top, bringing it down to the empty gap. So the tension's always coming down. It's always the way that you hold the cord and the disc is always the same. So I'm following numerically round. So I'm on number 3 again now. And you're taking that down to the number before. So I was down to 4 and I'm taking it down to the number below. There is only one gap with our brand new disc that we've created. This was the purpose of it, to make this braid structure easier, so you don't have to worry about where your numbers are going. You can really start to focus on your design, then you can start to focus on where the braids go, where the how the cord it goes when you lay it out, how have you put in different beads, how they will sit in your braid, and then the work of which one to move the cords to has been taken out for you, because we've taken away all the extra holes that you don't need from a regular Kumihimo disc. And this is exclusively designed for by ourselves and for us. You won't find this anywhere else at the moment, so it's exclusive for us. So it's only available from the Riverside Beads website, currently only for UK delivery at the moment. We would love to start international delivery again, particularly to our American followers, but at this stage we're still not quite, but we do hope to in the future. So this is available UK delivery, and I can't remember the exact price on it. It's about £7, I believe. But we also do a starter kit. So if you fancy getting a kit with some instructions in to make different beaded patterns on your 7 braid disc, we do a fabulous starter kit as well, which has your disc and cord and beads and all your patterns that you need to get going with it. Now I'm just braiding a section through, just enough to give us so you can see how this works. So hopefully, I'm going fairly quickly with it, but hopefully you're catching what I'm doing. There's no other empty gaps, so only the one there. I'm turning it round to 4 o'clock, going to the next number round. So it goes, the numbers, although they don't go round on the board, they're going from 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so that's how you would work it. So it goes round, you follow it round to the next number, always having that gap at 4 o'clock, and it's a fill the gap braid. So it's popping the empty cord, the cord in the empty slot. And that is your 7 strand braid. It's a really easy braid to lose yourself in. So you don't have to worry about where you are. It's really, somebody on our live has just said it's making you dizzy watching it spin. I'm going quite quickly with it. I quite like how we created it as a flower, so if you've got it in your stash, you remember it's not your regular Kumihimo one. It's a shape that isn't out there, so you know what it is. But I quite like the little flowers because it gives you a sort of pivot point as well if you need to just sort of spin it round on. So you can braid really quickly on this one. It does start to fall. Now hopefully, I think I've got enough under there to show you now. And it just looks really cute there with just tiny little flecks. And if you spin it round, you can see you get those little flecks running all the way round. So it's a really consistent little flecks on the braid, so you can see how they go. Now, when you start analysing how your stitches work, that's when you can start working out which cords you're replacing to get the different colours in there. Now, if I look at, so that's that one there, what I'm going to do is just set up an extra one and pop in a different colour cord. So bear with me, I'm just going to cut seven strands out. So this time I'm going to keep it to the white. So white's going to be my predominant colour. I'm going to go 5 white. I'm going to keep my red in there and pop that on number 1, which is where I had that to start with. And then I'm also going to pop in a pink strand as well. So introducing an extra colour. And I'm going to pop that onto a different, just bear with me, I'm just rolling it straight off the reel. This is how they come in the shop. Ever so handy to have the complete reels of them. But we do sell it by the metre as well, both online and in store. So you can just try a few different colours. Now, let's just get that. So red was the colour I had before, which gave that little fleck. And then this time, I'm bringing in a pink. Hopefully you'll be able to see enough of a colour difference there. Probably should have put a black or something really stark, but I'm hoping you'll be able to see it. Right, let's not make the same mistake in the knot this time. I did plenty away from the top, and of course that one went fine anyway. There we go. And then I'll shuffle it up to the top. Okay, so that's that one. Now, need my next disc. There, so here's your empty disc, and if you remember, I put the red on number 1, and then so I'm going to put my others out. I'm going to leave at number 8 3, even not 3. I was thinking I'm putting it in number 3 there, and I'm going to pop. Let me just get this in. So again, what I would do is I would take a photo of this and say, right, if I introduce another colour and I pop it there, here's what I'm going to get come out of the bottom. So for those of you that are just joining, you just got to be able to watch the braiding. And those of you that have already seen this bit, you might just want to fast forward this. If you're watching it back, you might not need to watch this. So this is exactly the same, doing exactly the same thing, but I've introduced that third colour now. Now, on the ones I've done before, I've always done them as 7 different colours, because I really like that sort of multi-look you can get from this, and the 7 different shades that you can tone. I've done it shades of blue here. Magnetic, sticking shades of blue and the shades of pink. Now the good thing with this one, it doesn't, you don't need to remember where you are, because you go to it and it's where your empty gap is where you're going to go next. What you do need to remember is if you're doing beaded, you just need to remember that it's you've got to add, where you've added your beads. So before you've done your move, have you added your beads? Are you adding beads on every strand, or are you just putting them on some of them? So that's some of the things you need to consider. So let me carry on with this. So if you're watching this back, it will be available on our Facebook page. We leave it up there permanently, and we also have a sort of cropped version on YouTube as well. So you can watch it back, you can fast forward it, you can probably fast forward all of this, and you'll be able to get to the finished bit. So I'm going to do a few repetitions around, because we need to get to that stage again like we did before, where we've got that that little bit to just show the different colours coming through, and then you'll see where the different flecks sit, and you can start to see where they go when you put them in the different chords and the different holes before you start. Is that enough yet? Oh, maybe. I'll do a couple more rounds, and hopefully that'll be enough to show us underneath. Okay, so I do have a habit of wanting to stop at number 8, like I've done my last move round to number 8. It's absolutely no reason you need to with this. So just there, I noticed that was about to get in a tangle. Just run your hands through it like if it was hair, and it'll just stop it getting in a tangle underneath. So I'm going to give it a little pull. It puts Kumihimo braids into their natural tension. And then it's quite tricky to see the pink actually. Hold on. There we go. So you can see what that's done. That's added your little fleck, and you can see where it's put the little fleck of pink in there. So then if I was to introduce a fourth colour, it might be I want to plan it to go in the little gap just there, or something in between those 2 colours. So it will add a fourth colour in there. And you can see how that starts to introduce your different colours. But I love the flexibility of this. You've got 7 colours to go at. So we've done things like the 7 colour, the rainbow one, 7 shades of the blues and creams and whites and things, just toning really, and the same with the pinks. Really flexible braids. This one comes up a 1mm. The cord is 1mm. The diameter of the finished braid will be whichever cord you use to start with. Quite a fan of the 1mm with it really. That's the one I'm liking the braid of. A 2mm comes up a little bit thicker. To give you an idea of how your braid will come up, if you took all of your strands of cord, whichever thickness you're using, combination works really nice as well, twist them together, and that will give you an idea of the finished braid, how wide it will be. So you can sort of assess whether it's something that you want that braid. You can also just braid the cord that you put the beads on as well, so that makes a thinner one as well, just if you fancy doing a braided part as well. Okay, so hopefully that's everything you need to see. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching back, and we'll be popping. Next week's will be the beaded tutorial on the 7 disc, and then we'll do our startings and endings on there as well to give you a bit more detail. So look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks everybody. Bye bye.